Thanks. Apparently I was muted. How's the delay, by the way? I was saying just a second ago, completely muted. It's always cool to see someone who is in the industry still trying to find time to push themselves or try things or critique themselves and critique others. Being part of a community like you guys is just cool. It's cool. So with that said, this is pretty cool. Division Underground Subway Station fan art action. So I think the biggest thing I can point out with this, like the materials need some work as far as like defining themselves through the roughness. Everything is very, very dirty. Don't need to go too dirty. But looking at this stuff, I think the biggest thing is scale. Scale is like everything. And right now, like this shelf feels really wide, but also short. So like when there's props on it, it feels, scale-wise, it feels odd. This light feels really short. And I'm having a hard time understanding like how tall a person is. I guess these are like shutter, like metal shutter things to just close. And I think in the albedo, this blue is probably too saturated. Everything is very blue. I really like this shot because you get the contrast of like this kind of bluish white light, and then you get the warm light here. But thinking about telling a story as well is probably a good idea. I feel like there's not. This is good. I feel like there's not too much of a story right now. It's just a lot of propping to try and build that messy look that you see in the Division. This feels really long. I guess a character would be about this tall. Like there's this gate here, so maybe a character is this tall. And if that's the case, then this is super long. This is maybe like 3 times longer than it should be. Maybe 2 times longer. You're about to go to the cinema. Oh my gosh, yes you can. You can watch it later. You can go here, and I will upload it later this evening. Go to the YouTube link. I post all of these VODs on YouTube with the music stripped out so you can just concentrate on what I'm saying. Or, you know, so you can put your own music on. That, and legally I can't use this music on YouTube, so that's why. Oh man, that'd be crazy if I was in a movie theater. Like, what the heck? Graffiti is streaming, by the way, guys. So after this stream, go ahead and drop over there. The guy's pretty awesome. Uses Moto. So this one's also interesting. These materials here for the police line, these look nice. There's a lot of stuff happening on the material itself. The graffiti feels placed on versus in the world, and I think it has a lot to do with the saturation and like scale placement. Like for this to be this high, I guess they're standing on the highest step, but then they're leaning really far to the left to try and get that to happen. Interesting. So this little corner here is pretty cool. There's a lot of like, so you're doing large shapes, these guys. Actually, I'll use this as an example. Let's use some colors. So right, you've got your large shapes taking up a lot of space because they're large, yes. And then yeah, I guess I'll just say that this is there as well, just because this is a large shape. That's good. Good. And then you've got your medium shapes. medium shapes. Let's go with like this blue. So these are your medium shapes. This stuff here. Right? Awesome. This is good. You have this stuff here. Medium shapes. Well, that's probably more of a large shape, but it's off shot, so we'll just leave that. Yeah, that's good. This is, I would say, is a medium shape as well, the banister. And this would be a larger shape. And then you have your small shapes, which are these little guys. Is really important to have that balance. When you can do that, when you have like large shapes and then you like the medium shaped stuff gravitates towards that, usually is weighted around the space, and then the smaller pieces kind of help add that gradient of the medium shapes going to the open space, which is everything else. So if we do this, it's probably easier to look at it like this. Yeah, that's like really good. This is good. So your attention to thinking about shapes like that is really important. This light right here is really narrow. Like I feel like it should be like, I'm going to have to move on to the next one here in a second, but I feel like this should actually be something like that. Anywho, in general, pretty cool scene. Looks like you learned a lot. Back here looks really good. I don't know what's doing it. Maybe it's the way that it's lit. But yeah. Think about scale. Scale is everything. And right now your scale is kind of all over the place. It's not too bad, but it is noticeable. So I would double check and make sure that everything is scaling up just right. Make sure, like, you can always place a character in there. That'll tell you everything. But yeah, cool. Okay, up next. Oh yeah, good old Leo luck. Oh man, look at that prop. So this is your scene for the challenge. Oh. I'm not set to streaming on the Discord. That's really weird. That's really strange. It says I'm streaming on mine. I have no idea, man. Yeah, so this scene's really interesting. I love this. There's some story stuff going on here. Man, you're moving real fast. That safe is pretty freaking sexy. Attention to detail here is really nice. I don't have really anything to say about it right now. It's pretty sick. Scene composition, all these angles are pretty interesting. This shot is actually really intriguing. There we go. Load. Yeah, that's cool. This is cool as well. So layout wise, I don't have too much to say. It's pretty cool. Seeing the style of this safe, I'm actually really excited to see this giant star. I think that star is going to look pretty cool. Man, this scene's crazy. I'm not really sure what to think of it yet, other than it looks cool. Pretty awesome so far. Composition seems pretty strong. There's some interesting thing going on here. I really like that. It's dope. It's dope. I don't have too much to say on it because maybe it's a little early. My own concept on Artstation Challenge Wild West was Bioshock Infinite. Explains a lot. Robbery of the bank, design, composition, feedback. Make sure it feels like it's coming from the bank, I guess. Because right now the bank's kind of in the back. Make it feel like, oh, he's stolen it. Maybe there's some like guys on the rooftop of a bank, like the stealing occurred, and then they got away on the roof via balloons. I need to understand. I need to understand how this went down. Pretty cool though. I like it. Made some improvements to the wood. The wood has improved. The grain lines are very like brushed metal look. Overall though, the roughness variation is much better than before. I would definitely look at like the type of grain you're going for. Figure out like if it needs knots, if it needs like the way that the lines are, it needs to probably warp a little bit. I'd be curious to see what your reference is, because that'll tell me a whole lot about what type of material you're going for. Because I mean, we have manufactured wood materials that aren't technically, they're wood structurally, but they were manufactured, they were put together, versus like cut down and then you see the wood grain and the patterns. But make sure you're following some reference and picking a specific type of wood material you're going for. Dude, you even got a freaking message from Josh. Oh, what a lovely dude. What a lovely dude. Heckhamhan is next. I probably said that wrong. But hello, Mad Bite Games. Josh likes you. Josh likes you. I like it. He's cool. That is a Nikon scope. Is that a thing? Is that real? Does Nikon make scopes? Or like, not scopes. What are these called? Oh, my brain. Dude, this is crazy. And that's a little... I hope Twitch doesn't freak out over that. Holographic sight. Oh, yeah. Emery, oh my gosh, thanks. Optics. 269 optics. You got to get those Nikon optics. Maybe it's just a Nikon battery. It's a very good point. It's a very, very good point. Doesn't Nikon batteries, aren't they like rounded more? Reference, guys. Reference. Because they're like super rounded on these sides. Oh yeah, you'll be able to watch it later. Don't you worry. I'll get it on YouTube. It's pretty cool though. That handle though, it's very odd. It's very odd. Material wise is like, it looks like you spent a lot of time here, and this is looking pretty good. Roughness could use maybe another pass. I would love to see a holographic pattern here that's got like that nice glow. Maybe I'll double it up too, so that you can see like it's parallaxing between two panes of glass. And then spend the rest of your time getting the material on this to look good. Because I don't know what this is pattern wise. This looks like it's like someone cut out a piece of stucco wall and just like plastered, like stucco plaster, glued it onto the gun. And then just understanding how these materials are made and set up. I'm actually curious now. Holy cow. You got a lot of stuff in here, buddy. All right. I want to see you post more in the Discord. This is cool. Whoops. Galvanized steel. Maybe. I guess I need to see it in motion to really know. But yeah, material definition, super important. And understanding how guns are put together before exploring your own shapes is probably... Like, I feel like that's why I wanted to click on your portfolio, because I wanted to see what guns you've created on your own. Or not on your own, imitating like real weapons. because like it's kind of like characters. You can't really stylize and make a really good stylized character usually until you fully understood how anatomy works, so that you can then exaggerate those things. And I feel like this is like you're still trying to get a grasp on like how, like there's really strange like bends happening here. That is one hell of a clip. Dude, this thing must shoot the biggest freaking rounds. See, like the rounds in here look huge, but then like the end point, like the actual muzzle brake is quite small. So I'm curious, is this like a triple stacked, it's like 3 clips inside of one or something, like next to each other instead of extended? I don't know. I don't know. Anywho, nonetheless, pretty interesting weapon. Oh man, got that potion. Get that potion, guys. Always love reflective stuff. So if this is all you're going to model, pay for that geometry. Just use it. Use it up. It don't matter. It don't matter. Just make this nice and round. Let's see what if you said anything. Crummy whiz. You're still a newbie? Dude, we're all newbies all the time, no matter what. Don't worry. I'm a newbie compared to like, you know, someone above me, someone really freaking good. I'm a newbie to that person. Once you accept you're a newbie for all eternity, it's great. It's a good feeling. Still working on the different maps. Yeah, you can always learn. It's great. That's probably the coolest thing about what we do. Always learning. You better like learning. I guess I'll say that. So this area up here, this looks pretty cool. I'm happy to see that this is more round. It used to be in the normal. It used to be sharper, if I remember correctly. I definitely do some exaggerations, like going with style a bit. Rounding this out with geometry. Adding more geometry here to round that out. Making sure there's no like material bleed on here. Like see how this kind of metal color that you're going for is kind of bled onto this. You can do that with material IDs. And you're having the same problem up here. Now material IDs are just like you get a map. Actually, let me see if I can. It's probably not a good idea to look up a YouTube video to show it and then put that on YouTube. But look up material ID maps for Substance Painter. That'll answer a whole lot of things. Basically, you'll bake the cork. Like the cork will be its own mesh, right? Maybe this area was its own mesh, and this is its own mesh, and this is its own mesh. Then you're applying different albedo colors to those. And during the bake, you bake the albedo out, and then you get those colors. Then you can use those colors as masks in Substance Painter to help you keep this from happening, where you get the bleed over between materials. And yeah, and geometry masking as well is another way you can do this. Maybe for this one, it would probably be better to do geometry masking, just because it's such a simple asset that you don't have to really worry about like masking the little intricate details. Either way, this is pretty interesting. The stuff on the inside, like I'll go in here. We're going inside, guys. So I like that you've separated the gap between there because it gives the glass some thickness. I would suggest beveling the liquid a couple times, and then maybe like adding a curve on the inside of this so it really feels. It's called polygon fill. Yes, thanks. Curving that top and then beveling those edges is really going to make it feel like it's liquid, even if it's like really thick viscous liquid. That'll change based on how wide your bevel is, will change how thick the liquid is perceived. But in general, pretty cool. Welcome to the Discord, by the way, as well. Oh yeah, Maddie, what's up? What is up? We got some water going on here. Let's turn this bad boy on. So this is pretty cool. The thing that struck me earlier, because actually I peeked at this earlier. Some shaders. Yeah, shaders. Sorry, not materials. Shaders. It says material. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the first thing that struck me with this, I appreciate you, brother. First thing that struck me with this is how the water is all kind of doing this. No hate on you. I'm sorry. It was just a miscommunication. So the water right now looks like it goes up and down. Do you see that? It's like, it's like the water is breathing. So that's probably, it's more of a large wave motion. So unless you can perceive the wave itself, it's just going to come off as a bug, I guess. The other thing that I'm noticing too is the uniformity of the waves. Displacement time. It's displacement time. So the uniformity of the waves, I get water's pretty mathematical, I guess, when you look at it, right? If there is a way to control the flow, like maybe through a flow map or like a mask map that is generated from geometry passing through, I think that would be like a depth fade mask. If you could have a depth fade mask that's basically doing what this foam is doing, because I think that's how you're creating the mask for the foam, using that to change the ripple patterns and change the scale so that further out, maybe you have areas that are much more calm and then areas that are have smaller ripples and then areas that have larger ripples. This foam is also very like it's cloud-esque in its proceduralness. It's the worst way to explain it. I'm sorry. It's just like you can tell that it's using a cloud as the mask, and maybe that's what you're going for, right? If there's a way to directionally warp that information so that it's more like following the form and flow of like what's cutting through it, it's literally cloud and contrast. I mean, maybe you're just testing the shader out, right? Maybe you're just getting it working, and then you're going to go and add all the magic. But yeah, I would look at what can happen with the normals around this edge and like getting that kind of like the bouncy like fluid kind of going up the rock and down the rock, and how those waves kind of emit after they hit something. Because when a wave, I mean, you know this, but when a wave goes this way and hits the rock, it's going to bounce back at like a little less energy, because some of that energy gets absorbed into the rock. But that rock itself will cause an effect on the water that's immediately around it as far as the waves are concerned. But this is cool, man. I'm a complete noob when it comes to stuff like this, so given all the things I said, you've already done better than I can do. The other thing I guess you could say is like maybe when you're getting close to, try doing like depth color. So like as it goes deeper, maybe it gets more like deep blue. And then when it gets more shallow, you start to get the like little clearer, maybe lighter blues. And then just in the radius around where it's getting close to rocks and stuff, you're getting a little bit more of like foam inside of the water, not so much the clouds, but like little particulates that are kind of just like, it's just a little bit more bubbly around everything that's near it that's not water. Like all that contact information is going to be huge. Like right here, this is looking pretty cool. And I think it's because the foam is really narrow and thin. I don't know if that's... Yeah, see right there, it looks really nice. Now that we've said all this, if you could find a way to create like, say the water goes up, and when it goes down, the saturation of the albedo of the rocks is more saturated, and the roughness is more imitating a wet surface, and then that kind of follows behind it, Like if it went up and then down, and then you see the wet edge, and then that goes down. That'd be sick, man. That'd be so cool. I'd freak out. I would literally scream on stream. Anyways, pretty cool. It's looking awesome. You wanted to get a hang of Unreal Shader Editor and material as a study, water material as a study. All right. Up next, Aliens Manual Airlock. I read that as Aliens Manual. It's Aliens Manual Airlock. Pull outer door open. That's hilarious. I read it like that. Irvant, dude. Yes. Good suggestion. Good stuff. So we got make sure this is the right one. I always try and read these. VOP v4. VOP v4, guys. Waffle. Dude, 10 months? What? Keep up the good work, homie. Thanks, man. Thank you for the 10 months. All right, what do we... Whoa, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I already looked at you. Okay, so texture-wise, would love to hear some crits to improve later on. I won't be able to watch live, so I might catch the VODs. Thanks, Dan. Okay. So this area here feels pretty good. You're getting some exposed metal, some paint, and then the exposed metal under it. This spot here feels a little odd. Like the Wayland Utoni logo there. Nicely placed. Might be a little small for the text, because I think the text is still trying to be there. I mean, overall, I think the shapes are pretty good. Oh, look at it. It's a close-up. Yes. I mean, I think looking at this, right now, all of the material roughness variation is kind of in the same range. Is there a... Oh, there's this. That's good. So this right here, like you can see the roughness map, everything's kind of in the same range. Just go all out. Like these buttons, make them like that reflective plastic that we all know that those buttons are. The really cheap, kind of crappy plastic buttons. That handle, I'm trying to imagine myself grabbing that, and the diameter of that handle feels quite large. Diffuse looks pretty good. Ambient occlusion's nice. Normal bakes look like they baked pretty well. Some good information in there. The metallic map looks fine. I think it's just a matter of like where you're putting your edge wear. There's a detail normal stuff you've got going on here that I think is in the normal itself, instead of being put into the oh, it's in Marmoset tool bag. Maybe that's why. So this type of information you're probably going to want to put inside the shader and tile it individual of the rest of the stuff so that you can maintain that fidelity, because you can see it's lower res when you get closer. And the reason for this being, where was it at? I thought I read somewhere that it was like a really high res. Yeah, there it is. 1 set 4K textures. So the reason for this being 4K textures, I take it has to do with all the text. So what I would do next time around is take all that text, make an alpha for it, have it as a cutout, and float polygons to do it. There's some extra geometry that doesn't really need to be in here, like these details here. Yeah, there's like this mirrored line here probably doesn't need to be there. That's your reference image. All right, well, I think your metal needs to be Or this material here needs to be darker. I'm not even quite sure what that material is. It looks like just metal. But then they've scraped. It's like old school propping. Old school props from like when they made them real. When it was all real. So I think making this darker. Like let's do this. Oh, come on. Come on. No, I don't know. There we go. And then we'll copy this one. We'll do that. And then I'll just like crudely cut this out. I'm sorry. I'm just going to grab this background and just stretch it over that way. I guess we'll grab this too and just bring this up here. So we can do some more matching. So you can see, like, I guess your lighting too in the file is probably pretty warm looking. So see if you can get some HDRs of like space or like a sci-fi set, or like HDR images of inside of a space shuttle or something. So I think like we take your yellows. No, you want to leave that. Let's just leave that. So let's tune these values a little bit. Is there a temperature control? I've never tone? No, tone. Adjust vibrance, hue, color, photo channel mixer, color lookup, invert. Do you guys know? I have no idea. You can add a photo filter. Adjust photo filter. Oh yeah. That kind of does it. I don't know if this is. That cools it off a little bit. So I just made it more blue. So you can see how close it's already getting. And then like your red looks like it needs to be more saturated. So let's go ahead and just like turn that saturation up. Maybe to like there. Look at that. That's crazy. So your yellows, we probably need to go in here. Yellows need to go up in saturation. And then maybe we'll leave that there. And then no, we don't need to touch that. Anywho, you can see what's going on there. Because of the color shifts, this white has become much more blue. Camera raw filter. What is what? That's a thing? Oh man. Ooh. Ooh, I didn't know about this. How come I never knew about this? Oh man. Shadows, highlights, contrast, temperature. There's your temperature slider. Oh yeah. Gotta go. All right, man. Cheers. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. So that's basically, so you can see I've tuned a lot of the materials, but like just getting it closer, that's all it takes, I think, is just making sure that you're matching those values. Dude, that camera raw filter, I'm going to be using that quite a bit. That's pretty cool. I did not know that was there. All right. Next up. Oh, yes. So this is the final. This is 2D, of course, but feedback was requested. Oh, I'm scared now. No, you're fine. You're totally fine. This is cool, too. Oh, and you modeled stuff. Nice. Very good. Very good. So this image, right? I'll just copy this one. This one's all about those two guys and whatever is just about to go down. This is really well done. Dude, this song is freaking weirding me out. I'm gonna move on, but that was interesting. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna just dupe that noise. Oops. We'll just do that. Oh, no, we don't want that. We want... There we go. I see you painted in some chromatic aberration on the edges there. So pushing that back and really bringing the focus in on these guys is probably what you want to be doing. So that's just me, though. I could be utterly wrong. Whoa, hey, that's not. We'll just do this. Let's push that back too, and then we'll like, what is happening? There you go. Bringing this guy forward. Making sure that they're not being masked by the smoke very much. You see how the focus is really shifted to those guys? Might be a little strong. Let's do that. So compositionally, if you're to squint, like this being darker over here, and then this being more faded is really, I think, a good composition choice. Let me see if we can. So what I'm trying to do here, obviously, we're getting too much color in the background. That's detracting from what you're looking at. But trying to bring some more of that darkness into the sky. Just to continue to follow that kind of look of the second here. So compositionally, you're getting, by doing that thing of the sky, we're getting more of like a cut like this, where this is very much this color, and this side is very much this color. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a shame, though. This building is really cool, so like, be careful with going too crazy with that. This shot is also suffering from the same thing where I'm not sure. So first off, I'm happy that this is the same format of like spacing. So these mountains are really close, which might be okay. But there's two windmills, which is very strange to me. There's usually only one per town windmill, at least in these iconic shots. and getting that kind of like rolling smoke look to help separate a character. Let me see if I can't. Oh, this is going to be horrible. I apologize. I'm not a concept artist. Okay. Thinking. Edelon Fox, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for the host, dude. Hope your world is awesome. So we've got about 20 more minutes. I'm still going through critiques. So what's happening with this guy is he's very hard to distinguish. Well, it's not too hard, but you really want him to pop out from the shot, right? So like you're kind of doing it here with this lighter information behind him. Give me a second here. You want to push the midtones down or up around him so that he sticks out more. That's probably too far. But just getting him to pop out more is important. And like what I'm saying with the smoke and stuff is like maybe there's like fog, because see there's fog back here that's really separating these buildings in the distance. And I think doing that again maybe around here is going to be really helpful. So if we go, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take the time and mask this out for you so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'll just mask over this wheel for time. Okay, we'll go up here. Mask this area out. Oops. Gotta add. This isn't a perfect mask either, so I apologize in that sense. Why is it doing that? I'm like pasting the same freaking place. Come on. Obviously, this doesn't work because the background is already lighter. But do you see how, like, man, this isn't working for me. Like, push it back. Basically, that needs to be pushed back. And everything behind it needs to be pushed back more as well. So maybe that'll help me. I'm getting all types of weird artifacts now. But you get the idea of, like, getting those separations is really key. Because, like, now see how much this is popping forward? And if you can do that with the rest of the buildings, you're going to be in a good spot. Dude, I'm all confused now. What is happening? I don't know what's happening anymore. So you can get those separations. Like, let's just do some colors. I mean, you get it. I know you get it. But I'm just going to drive it home. Okay, so that's your first layer, right? Your next layer. Use that dope blue. This will be your next layer. Maybe this one's debatable. I'm not sure where to put this one. I like the idea of this one not being here and it being in the distance. And then that whole distance plane is using the third layer. And then the stuff in the back here is very subtle. Because I like the idea of it going up into the fog and stuff. Anywho, that's all crazy colors now. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think these scenes are interesting to use. Little rim lighting can add a whole lot. Yes, it's true. On the character. Let's see what else we got going on here. As far as making this in 3D, I go for it, man. Toltic, what's up, man? How you doing? So that was that. Pierre wants me to look at this image. Sorry, you guys are all blind now, and I'm like way wider all of a sudden because the screen is so white. All right, so this is looking pretty cool, man. Awesome. Looks like you've been practicing some foliage. Sky Fun, how you doing? Hope you're having fun in the sky. Hello, sir. So I like that there's some darkness inside of these. I'm a little torn on the kind of pillowy softness of the ground. But it does look like you've been getting some substance practice as well. Overall, I think breaking up the... So you know how we had the foliage and substance designer? Oh, yeah. Oh, I always forget that you're polygons pusher. What's up? So I think that these leaves right now are quite dense and they're pretty uniform. You're getting some smaller plants and stuff going on here, but it really needs, let me see here. It really needs to shrink down as you go. Let me see if I can't fake any of this. Like you need that fall off. Maybe if I had like a, whoa. Whoa, that is a weird brush. So the new Photoshop's brush stuff is really annoying to me. She's like, oh, it's a general brush. These are like, what about just like brushes that exist? Spacing, scatter. It's crazy to me. See, and then if I go to S, then it resets everything because there's other brushes involved. Meh. I feel like an old man. Meh. There we go. It's kind of doing it. So see how like... This is kind of a shitty way of trying to display it, but getting the fall off to happen smoother. Oh, nice Link Pro. Thanks, dude. But see how this is like falling off better? Like this? Making sure that that happens is important. Look at how paths are in nature and like how you'll naturally see a path that's formed that wasn't formed by people is it's interesting to see because it does have a fall off, very similar to how we do like large, medium, and small props. You'll want to do that with foliage. Yes. And then the other thing I would say, like, so this is looking pretty good here. The trunks over here are quite dark. Do you have any advice on how to tackle the mountains? World Machine or something like that, something of that nature. I mean, that's the go-to for me. Some type of terrain generation tool. Trying to sculpt it's just going to put yourself in a position where like you're working on it a lot when you could just generate it. I think that's the best route, is some type of generation tool. If you ever watch on YouTube, there's videos of people doing speed scenes and watching how they do stuff in the distance with like floating pieces, and then they just kind of place them and layer them separately. They're not even like melted together. They're just like floating pieces that are quite large. They're just positioning them in the distance to create interesting compositions. It's pretty crazy how tall this is versus where you're at, because I feel like you're really climbing. Yeah, a terrain generator in Substance Designer is possible. I've seen it done, but it's World Machine has some magic. The newest version of World Machine has a free version? Really? Magnus Rex with the mode comments. Thanks, man. Nice, Pro. Thank you for the link. The only other thing I would say is your trees right now, the branches seem to have like a natural shape to the overall silhouette of them. So like, I can't do the song. Hang on. Can't do it. So right now, you've got a tree going up like this, and then you've got branches starting, and the shape I'm seeing is like that. Like you see this, and then the trunk, and then. So I'm assuming the other side is like that. So looking at like how there was a video I did quite a while back, and I talk about the composition of trees. I would definitely look at that. I had the great joy of working with a Matt Rappeljay back when I worked at Monolith, and that guy, he took some pretty serious classes in botany. And so he like understood where branches are and why they're there, and how to tell how old something is just by looking at where the branches are, and like what you can expect on trees based on how old they are. It was magical. I'm going to find that video for you right now, actually. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? This is crazy. Let's see here. It's pretty old at this point, I think. There it is. Let's talk about foliage. All right. Here you go. I'll click on this, actually, open it up, and we'll bring it over here. Oh, does it really have that many views? That's kind of cool. What is happening? Play you. I have no idea if that song is from LA Noir. That's cool, though. There we go. Okay, yeah. No, this is... Man, this is a while ago. December 15th, 2016. So I talk about where branches are at and why they're where they're at. Oh, yeah. Dude, this is when I was still doing 3-hour videos. Anyways, check that out. There's a part 2 as well. We're just diving into SpeedTree. Anywho, I have to... You actually remember that stream? Oh, that's crazy, man. That's a good video for like talking about like where branches could be and why they would be where they're at. Yeah, that's a year ago. Okay, let me make sure we're doing okay on stuff. It is 9:24. We got through all of the people. Sineth and Potterson. I will not be able to get to yours. I apologize. Malice, I got to... No, I did not get to Malice's. All right, there we go. Last one. So this is the concept on the left here. And the model is on the right. So really, I want to say really challenge yourself when it comes to like creating these shapes. Because that's where you're going to get that learning on, you know? Oops. So if I paste this, I'm going to move this down. So you can see like this curve here isn't just round like this. It kind of goes out and then goes back out like that. And then yours is very round. So like trying to get this shape to work. And dude, it's a crazy shape, I know. Because like it even goes up here. And like obviously this is similar on the other side. But then it actually peaks at the top. And then creates this point here. I would actually go and try and understand where this architecture and style is coming from. Did I get better internet? No, I think Twitch is liking me more. The delay is insane. What's up, Cross? How you doing? But yeah, I definitely like look at the shapes and understand like seeing this area. Just go for it. Make these. This could be the same as this one. Make this little piece in here. Try and create that. Just commit. Full on commit. And then this material, it looks like you changed the material. Just go with the wood look. It's pretty cool. Oh, and it looks like you lifted up the top here that's folded back. Get that light in there. This guy. Just gonna right like that. And yeah, and then look at your saturations because it looks like the wood material that you have going on there is saturation wise maybe is a little off. It looks like yours is just a little too warm. There you go. Adding a bit more green to it and maybe lowering the saturation and bam. Nice. Yeah, just go for it. So the other thing is Twitch did make a thing that allowed me to test a beta option where you can try and lower the delay. That does coincide a bit with what you guys are saying about the stream delay being much better. So I think you should thank them if that's the case. But it is 9:28. Do you guys have any questions before I roll out of here? I'll say with this piece, just go for it. Make the pieces. Just try and, like, you don't even have to texture it if you don't want. Am I ready for tomorrow? Are you talking about Tamnek? Can you have an amazing Friday, please? Can you have an amazing Friday? I'm pretty sure you can. Elite Raw, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, man. Just go for it. I know you got it in you. I see it here. Make the parts. I'm excited to see what comes of this if you decide to move forward with that. Oh God, you scared me so much then. Oh yeah, it's Friday tomorrow. I just want to fix up some stuff with it before I hand it over. What do you mean hand it over? What do you mean hand it over? Oh, the last images. I cannot. Let me look here. This stuff, yeah? I mean, you are the very last person. No, because then I'm skipping on other people. I can't do it, man. You're getting real close in there, though. Get some subscriber emotes. I got to get a partner first if I want the subscriber emotes. You get one. Everyone gets the one. I'm sorry. Is it Jabrail? You should throw it into... so if we look at the Discord here, you should throw it into art related. You will get tons of feedback in there. Blue, if you're here, if you're listening, this guy needs feedback. He needs the good stuff. Blue drops serious critiques. We're talking like this whole page here will be one message. And then I've even seen PDFs with drawings on top and then little images next to it to support what was said in the critique. It's insane. It's insane. It's exactly why is Shogun Elite and playing Fallout 4. All right, guys. I got to get out of here. You guys have a good Friday and enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you on Monday. Skabloom. All the little thingies. Woo-wee. All right, later, guys.